lot of calls coming in. I understand I've got 2 people handling media requests and calls, and lots coming in. We'll take it as it comes and attempt to stay on message here, make sure that people understand. As we've said from the beginning of the campaign, Texas has a real opportunity to show the country a different way, to show the country freedom and prosperity, and to really step up and lead in a direction that's on a different path from the one that we've been on. I think that I have made a pretty strong case for believing that the decisions that we are making at the state level are going to lead us in the same path as some of those states that we're now pointing fingers at and saying they're not doing so well, and yet we're doing the same sorts of things policy-wise. Texas has an opportunity to really get back to those core conservative issues of limited government and constitutional republic, private property ownership, and state sovereignty issues that will, in fact, see some real prosperity returning to our economy. When we do that, I believe other states will be encouraged to do the same, and we'll see a real change of direction, not just for Texas, but for the country.
Where are you going besides Houston today? Where have you been?
This is I've done several radio interviews this morning. This is my first stop. I think I have a Chronicle editorial review board just after this, and then a editorial review board meeting in Montgomery County, and then I'm speaking in Liberty County tonight, and then I'm all over the Houston area tomorrow, and Tyler on Sunday, and in Dallas on Monday.
Is this damage control?
No, this is continuing what we've been doing. We've been campaigning hard every day for months.
I missed your opening statement. I got here a little late. Excuse me. Could you maybe give me a copy of your comments, please? And put you up in the news conference up with?
Penny, you want to give him a copy of that?
Well, if we're passing out copies.
I don't know how many she's got. I know she read from, at least she read from one.
That's her copy. Okay.
Or you want to come back and do it again?
Would you like me to repeat it?
No.
I can give you a synopsis.
Would be fine.
I'm curious as to why you think you're receiving more exposure than 2 of Rick Perry's high-profile supporters. Sarah Palin in 2008 called for an extended investigation of 9/11, and State Senator Dan Patrick was also on the Alex Jones show, and yet no one seems to be attributing them to the type of far right-wing nutcases, if you will, that they do to you. Why do you think that is?
I spoke in spring last night, and I said, I should expect this attack. I think we've known when we began to be a real threat in this race that it was going to come. I really am who I have professed to be. I'm just an average Texas citizen, common sense, common values person, and there aren't any of the high-profile kinds of scandals in my life that really are going to give people something to chew on. So we're going to have to make things up. I knew an attack would come. I didn't expect that one, and I didn't expect it, coming through the vehicle of the Glenn Beck show yesterday. But the bottom line is, I am running a campaign asking to be governor of the great state of Texas. And in that capacity, I'm going to have to expect to be strong, straightforward, and honest, and take what comes and deal with it as honestly as I can, and be willing to come back today and say, that came at me unaware. I did the best I could. We got out pretty quickly, letting people know what I really believed about that issue and where I thought that was going. I'm going to continue to do that and to stay focused on bringing accountability, transparency, to government in Texas, and hopefully running an administration where these sorts of questions won't even be asked, because it'll be abundantly clear to people what's going on in their government, and we won't have this air of suspicion. And that's really what we're trying to bring here. I can't explain other than to say I'm doing some damage. I'm over the target. They know I'm over the target, and we're heading up pretty quick. And so this is a concerted damage control effort, maybe on their part, to make sure we get her out of the way. Thankfully, I think Texans have seen through that as well, and we've got lots of people sending in words of encouragement and support, and we're staying on task. We're going to continue to run this race. The issues facing Texans are the recession in our economy, the loss of jobs, the high rate of government spending, without any real meaningful solutions being proposed by either candidates. It's more of the same, and that's not moving Texas forward. This campaign has articulated a very clear vision for improving prosperity and freedom in Texas. I have been very committed to eliminating property taxes in this state and reforming the tax structure here, understanding economics, knowing that a sales tax is a much better way to raise that revenue, and the consequence to our economy from that policy alone is a $3 billion increase in net personal income and 150,000 new real jobs. Those are solutions that Kay and Rick haven't been able to articulate, and frankly they can't touch. So I suspect that we're going to see more of this as we continue to gain in the polls. As Penny indicated, another poll out today that shows us neck and neck, even closer to the senator than before. We're coming on strong. I've been saying for weeks this is not going to be, first I wasn't going to have any effect, then I might make a blip, then I might cause a runoff. I should just get out instead of costing us a runoff. Then I might be in the runoff. I've been saying for weeks, I'm going to win this race. I still believe that's true today. I believe you're going to continue to see more momentum, and all of this helps. It helps with that because it doesn't hold water. When you try to throw that mud at Debra Medina and say she's a crazy person, there's nothing about me that makes me look like I'm a crazy person. And Texans see that. They see clearly this is a political game. That's all it's been. We're going to stay focused on restoring prosperity and freedom in Texas, common sense, common values.
If what you're saying is that your opponents are shooting at you rhetorically, when you can see that you handed them some ammunition in your performance, I believe that show.
Yeah, I could have done that better, and I'll endeavor to be a little bit more articulate in the future and to make sure I understand the question clearly. John?
You think Glenn Beck exposed himself as far as the part of the Perry-Palin presidential movement?
Well, we've all kind of grown up with a bunch of cliches, and I think we've heard in politics it makes strange bedfellows, and boy, I've seen that. We've all seen that in grassroots political effort. I have said from the beginning of this campaign, I'm sure that I am woefully naive about how difficult this race is going to be. Never run a statewide campaign before. I've lived a relatively normal, average life, and I have put myself on a stage. I knew I was going to get shot at. I can't tell you how gratified I am to have the team standing around me that I've got standing around me. And it's not just a political team. It is rank and file Texans from Brownsville and Harlingen to Wichita Falls, from El Paso to Beaumont and all parts in between. They are coming on strong. We're going to win this race, and I'm going to let people draw their own conclusions to what happened there and what's really going on behind the scenes. As we begin to really bring back that citizen leadership, I think we'll see folks having to open up and be more transparent and more responsible for their actions, and less aligned maybe to corporate interests, more aligned to those of their neighbors and their fellow Texans.
So the fundraising is a big indicator as far as the support of a candidate. What has happened with your fundraising since the Glenn Beck interview yesterday? I haven't been on the internet really at all to see that, but I think we had a report last night at the event that we were in that there was $40,000 or $50,000 just in yesterday alone. So we've seen an increase. I did see something about the Facebook fan page numbers shooting up as well. So I think from all indications that we're hearing, that's good. I have been on 3 radio interviews this morning, and I did take a couple of calls, and the calls that I took, and again, you don't have any way of knowing who's screening what, but the calls that I took were very positive. So whether they were screening out the negatives or not, I don't know, but at least the calls that I took this morning were really encouraging and positive.
If you were to summarize this whole brouhaha, would you consider it an attack or a mistake?
An attack. I don't think there's any question it was an attack.
Why?
Can I answer that?
I'll let you have that one.
No.